This is interesting. So I'm going to get to this. I'll read out the whole statement and the tweet. I'm going to have my view on this, bro, because absolute rip-off of The Rock. Now, this isn't me who's come up with this statement, so I've not just thrown in someone's a rip-off of The Rock in the chat. Obviously, you know The Rock's my favorite wrestler of all time. This statement, this comment, this tweet came from the one and only Kevin Nash. And I thought it was quite incredible how he said it, but he's a clean-cut guy who would say what he wants in terms of wrestling, and people do listen to his opinion. So I do listen, you know what I mean? What I think of Kevin Nash as a wrestler compared to what I think of him, how he is now and stuff, like two different things. I think he was a really good wrestler. I say I think he was a good wrestler. He was decent. I don't think he was the way he talks now. I don't think he's as great as how he talks now. But I do think he done great stuff for wrestling NWO, to be exact, and Big Daddy called him Diesel and all that stuff. But I still thought it was a bit, you know what I mean, bit snaky what he said about LA Knight. Still, I think I've got the statement here. Hopefully, I've still got it so I can cover it back up. Okay, here it is. So I just wait for this now. Where is the statement gone? All right. So this is a statement from Kevin Nash. Am I the only one who sees the absolute rip-off of The Rock? To the point where he cut the promo on fucking Logan Paul or whatever the F his name is. He said, yeah, stick it. The only thing he didn't do was turn the mother effing sideways. Jesus Christ. What does everybody know? Does everybody have amnesia? There's nothing original. Oh man, his promo, his effing promos. Finally, LA Knight has come back as a white guy, effing uncle. I don't know what his problem is, bro. I really don't. Now, to them statements, I'm not going to tell Kevin Nash how to feel about LA Knight because he's a wrestler. He's paid his dues in the business. He's done what he wants. He's allowed to comment. I don't think you should be rude about anyone, but he might not have said it in that kind of context. I don't have the visuals of him saying it, so I'm not going to do that. And LA Knight's a grown man, and I've seen over the last few years, and you guys know on this channel, I made a video like maybe 2 years ago now, talking about how LA Knight's a throwback to the back in the day wrestlers. I think it was when he was wearing the yellow gear, and I said he reminds me of somebody from the early 90s onto the to the early 2000s. Someone who could have fit in the Attitude Era, someone who could have risen in the I'd say the Ruthless Aggression era as well. In fact, he probably could have wrestled in the 80s. Now, I also said, which has gone to the masses now, where people are saying that he sounds a lot like The Rock and Stone Cold. Yeah, he does. He does sound like The Rock and Stone Cold. In fact, even if you forget the Stone Cold part, the way he actually talks with his real accent sounds like The Rock, which tells me that he's not imitating The Rock on how he speaks. But naturally, if you sound like The Rock, then when you cut a promo and you're all amped up, you're going to sound a lot like The Rock. Not to mention that he's a big fan of The Rock. He's a big fan of Stone Cold. He said that he was watching The Rock and Austin when he was in high school or something like that. And yeah, I don't see the big issue about it either. He's great on the mic. He did do that show with The Rock. Was it? I think that show was called Hero. I think, and he was on there because I remember The Rock saying it doesn't matter what your name is to him. And that was like 10 years ago, maybe longer. I don't think it's a massive thing. I think all the wrestlers down the years have imitated some of their favorite wrestlers. Only natural. If any of you guys became a wrestler and you got thrown in at the deep end, you're gonna use something off someone you already know. Not word for word, but you're gonna use their technique, you're gonna use their cadence because you're used to it. Even me, when I was play fighting and playing wrestling, I'm always gonna use someone else's cadence. But I don't think LA Knight's a rip-off of The Rock whatsoever, and I don't think it's a rip-off of Stone Cold whatsoever. He's his own guy. He doesn't have the same charisma as them. He has his own charisma. And I think LA Knight can go forward and actually do something pretty good, to be honest. I think